Bonjour, my name is Alex. I got a grade 9 at GCSE French, and today I'm going to do a walkthrough of the Edexcel Higher Listening paper from 2022. The paper and mark scheme is linked in the description, and I'll be spending 40 minutes going through each question and explaining how to answer it. Without further ado, on y va.
This is the Pearson Edexcel GCSE Paper 1 Listening in French, higher tier. Summer 2022. You have 5 minutes to read through the question paper. You may make notes at any time. You may open your question paper now.
So immediately what I'd do here is I'd do some translating, and I'd figure out what is actually going on. So, e.g., what the questions are actually asking me to do, what language it's going to be in, to make sure that everything's in check and that there's nothing that could affect my answers and that could cause me to not get the mark. So I know, obviously, here, complète les phrases en choisissant un mot ou deux mots dans la case, ou des mots dans la case. So you basically have to use those words in the text box and paste them into questions A, B, C, D, or E where they fit. So obviously, and I know, so because you have to paste them, it's obviously going to be in French because they're in French. So I know what's happening. So I know I'm not going to not get the mark. Because everything's in check at the moment. So again, now I'm going to do a bit of translation. Just, so when I come back, it refreshes my memory, or if I manage to forget a word in that time period, I can come back and that refreshes my memory, and then, so it doesn't really matter if I seem to forget that word. Okay, so the translation's in the text box, parents, that's literally parents in English as well, so I don't need to write that down. Violon, violin. Karate, I don't need to write. Cinema, souvent, often. Documentaire, documentaries. Judo, ami, friends. Rarement, rarely. Piano and série, series. So, just label these 5, 8, 9. So here it's Eric lit. So lit means Eric reads. So obviously we know already that it's going to be him reading something. So we can already, or like something to do with reading. So whether it's a lot, a bit. So we obviously can rule out some suggestions already, like the piano. He's not going to be reading a piano. So again, process of elimination can get you the marks and stuff. So I can already rule those out if I want to. And then comme sport, obviously he's not going to be doing documentaries as a sport. So we can rule other words from that text box that don't necessarily make sense. So I can do that for all of them, but obviously I'm going to try go through every single one, so I have to keep moving. So here, elle parle de qui choisit entre Florence, Abdul Khalid et Thomas. So it's basically just writing those names as to who has said this statement or something similar to it. So now I know what's going on. There's an unlikely chance that I'll get it wrong, so I've got an understanding of what I have to do. So déteste le fast food, hates fast food. Aime la nourriture, likes the food of other countries. Notre pays could be difficult, so I'll write that down just to make sure I got that in check. Obviously, if you know for certain you know a word, you don't need to write that down. So, because obviously it's not going to escape your memory in like 5 minutes. So only do it if you think you could get stumped. Only translate if you think you could get stumped by a certain thing. Va fêter sans, don't need to write that. Pense que les restaurants sont chers, expensive, yeah, I don't need to do anything there. So there are pupils. What you could do here is you could essentially write in French what that little, basically what this right here is saying. So when you write that down, when you hear that in French, you'll be like, ah, so in that sentence will be the answer. So it's kind of focuses you on the points. So if I want, however, I'm short on time and I'm trying to get through everything. So unfortunately, I'm not going to do that right now. What does Lionel say about his job? Listen to the recording and put a cross in each of the 3 correct boxes. So he works for a Chinese company. Il travaille pour une compagnie chinoise. So yeah, he works dans l'industrie du tourisme. Il parle beaucoup de langues. Found his job difficult at first. So at first could catch people out. So make sure, I'm going to highlight that, just pay attention to detail, because it could say he found his job difficult and not say at first, and that could stump some people, because obviously it completely alters the meaning. Has his own flat. Again, look for the keywords propre. So own is propre. So propre appartement. So again, if he says il a un appartement avec un ami, it's not his own flat, okay? Because it's sharing with someone. So pay attention. He wants to work, il veut travailler en Espagne, and he never sees his parents. Jamais voir ses parents. Alright, environmental problems. What does Sandia think? Listen to the recording. So, biggest problem, translate that. Plus grand problème. And then it's basically just pay attention to the keywords and think exactly like which one it is. Is it rubbish, ordure, déchet? So if it's a synonym to that, or if it's explaining that, then you know. Just think which one it's most likely to be. Because in these situations it's not going to exactly say the word. You're going to have to infer meaning. So obviously if it's saying like plastic bottles on the road, it's obviously going to be rubbish and not traffic or flooding or sea pollution, right? So yeah, continuing on, what does Yusuf say? Listen to it, and again, in English, so pay attention, because the section's because in the exam you could not be paying as much attention to detail, and you could skip this, which could ultimately cost you a lot of marks and potentially the grade you want to get. So again, pay attention to detail. So just listen to the recording, which families find living in the countryside particularly good, and just pay attention to detail. Yeah, the Mouse charity shop. Yeah, so same principle here, and work in future ambitions. So yeah, just tick the box with one that's most similar. Yeah, same here. So yeah, it's the same one as the two above. Yeah, so yeah, the paper looks pretty good. Now we should be ready to start.
In a few moments, you will hear the first recorded extract in French. You will hear each extract twice. After the first playing of the extract, you will hear one bleep. After the second playing of the extract, you will hear two bleeps. After each question title is announced, there will be a pause to allow you to read the question. You may write at any time while the recording is playing. Now, turn to the first question. Section A.
Mes passe-temps. Question 1.
Je lis tout le temps. Je fais du judo. Mon frère fait du karaté. J'aime la télévision, surtout les documentaires. Je joue du violon. Bientôt, je vais commencer le piano. J'aime beaucoup sortir avec mes amis. Hier, je suis allé au cinéma avec mes parents.
Okay, so if we wait a sec, he said Eric lit, and then he said tout le temps. So, and then obviously it's not word for word what's in the textbook. However, souvent is the one most likely to it because it means often, which is most similar to all the time. So the first one is souvent. And then comme sport, if he said mon frère fait du karaté. But remember, it's his brother, not him. So that's obviously not right. And then he later said that he does judo. So that is the right answer for that. And he said il aime regarder la télé, certainement les documentaires. So yeah, that's pretty much really easy because he just said what's in the text box. And then à l'avenir, il va apprendre. So again, he said something like back in the day he did the violin or something. However, he's going to play piano. And remember, it's il va apprendre, so near future tense. So it's something he's going to do and not has done, meaning it's the piano. And again, for the E, it is said that it's what he had done in the past and not what he likes doing. He said he liked being with his friends, but it's not what he likes, it's what he did in the past. And in the past, he went with his parents recently. Alright, let's...
Je lis tout le temps. Je fais du judo. Mon frère fait du karaté. J'aime la télévision, surtout les documentaires. Je joue du violon. Bientôt, je vais commencer le piano. J'aime beaucoup sortir avec mes amis. Hier, je suis allé au cinéma avec mes parents.
Alright, all done. Next one. Alright, so the next one is the naming one. So you just choose one of the names which fits the
Manger
statement.
au restaurant. Question 2.
Florence aime essayer des restaurants différents. Indien, italien, algérien. Abdul pense que les repas au restaurant coûtent trop d'argent. Il préfère aller dans des fast-foods. Pour fêter son dernier anniversaire, nous avons mangé des hamburgers. Khalida ne mange pas de fast-food. Elle a horreur de ça. Pour son prochain anniversaire, elle m'a invité à un nouveau restaurant pas cher. Thomas préfère préparer des repas chez lui. Cuisiner est sa passion.
Okay, so immediately it said that Abdul thinks restaurants are expensive, and then it said so he goes to fast food. It's not that he hates them, he goes to fast
Florence
food.
aime essayer des restaurants différents. Indien, italien, algérien. Abdul pense que les repas au restaurant coûtent trop d'argent. Il préfère aller dans des fast-foods. Pour fêter son dernier anniversaire, nous avons mangé des hamburgers. Khalida ne mange pas de fast-food. Elle a horreur de ça. Pour son prochain anniversaire, elle m'a invité à un nouveau restaurant pas cher. Thomas préfère préparer des repas chez lui. Cuisiner est sa passion.
Okay, so if we were to quickly recap, for the first one, it said Khalida a horreur de fast food. So a horreur is just, fast food is a horror to her. So obviously she hates it. And it said something about Abdul, said something about Abdul related to fast food. That could stump some people because, fast food, it says it there. But it actually said he thinks that restaurants are expensive, so he goes to fast food. Not he hates fast food. So that could stump some people as well. And then the first one is like Florence aime cuisiner or something. La cuisine d'Italie, France, etc. Like the fact that she's making all these foods obviously means she likes them, and thus, like, she likes the food of all these countries if she's making them. So it's obviously that one. And then Thomas just said il préfère manger chez lui. Chez lui is a synonym of à la maison, so it's obviously that one. And it said also Khalida va fêter son anniversaire. And then it also said something about Abdul, who celebrated his birthday, son anniversaire, something. So yeah, but it was Khalida because it was near future, and Abdul's was past. So yeah.
Section B. My school. Question 3.
Dans mon collège, il y a 800 élèves. On a un nouveau gymnase. La discipline est bonne, mais on n'a pas assez de clubs. J'aime les maths et les sciences. Je suis vraiment nul en anglais. Au lycée, je vais étudier l'informatique. Je dois me lever à 6 heures et je rentre tard. C'est fatigant. J'ai de bonnes notes. Je ne suis pas inquiet pour les examens et les cours sont intéressants.
So yeah, first one was pretty self-explanatory. It just said il y a 800, which is 800, so 800. 8 is 8. He said the sports facility.
Dans mon collège, il y a 800 élèves. On a un nouveau gymnase. La discipline est bonne, mais on n'a pas assez de clubs. J'aime les maths et les sciences. Je suis vraiment nul en anglais. Au lycée, je vais étudier l'informatique. Je dois me lever à 6 heures et je rentre tard. C'est fatigant. J'ai de bonnes notes. Je ne suis pas inquiet pour les examens et les cours sont intéressants.
So yeah, just to recap, again, the second one, he said, nous avons un nouveau gymnase. So they have a new facility. So obviously it's not what he needs because they have it. And then he didn't say anything about computers or discipline. But then he said, il n'y a pas assez. Pas assez is not enough. Not assez. Pas assez. So not enough clubs. Obviously, if he thinks that there should be more. So it's the clubs. And then he said he wants to study in sixth form. He said il aime les maths et les sciences, which means he likes maths and sciences. But it didn't say anything about whether he actually wanted to study them in the sixth form. It just said he liked them. Then nul à anglais is just bad at English. So it just leaves out IT, which is what he'd be doing. Then for 5, his only concern is... So again, he said nothing about boring lessons. However, he said something about lower marks and n'est pas un problème. So it's not a problem. And if it's not a problem, it's not a concern. And then he also said les examens ne m'inquiètent pas.
Working
So
abroad.
not worrying me. So it leaves out A.
Question 4.
Je travaille pour une organisation française en Chine. J'organise des voyages pour des Français. Je ne parle pas chinois et je ne suis pas fort en langue, mais ce n'est pas nécessaire. Les premiers mois étaient difficiles, mais j'ai trouvé un appartement et ça va mieux. Avant, j'ai travaillé 2 ans en Espagne. Bien sûr, ma famille est loin. Cependant, je vois souvent mes parents. Je travaille pour une organisation française en Chine. J'organise des voyages pour des Français. Je ne parle pas chinois et je ne suis pas fort en langue, mais ce n'est pas nécessaire. Les premiers mois étaient difficiles, mais j'ai trouvé un appartement et ça va mieux. Avant, j'ai travaillé 2 ans en Espagne. Bien sûr, ma famille est loin. Cependant, je vois souvent mes parents.
Okay, a quick recap. He said he works for a French company in China. So not a Chinese company. It's a French company, but it's just based in China. And obviously he said he was getting French people holiday packages to China. So if he's trying to get people to visit new places, it's obviously something related to tourism, making that one. Then he said, les langues, je ne suis pas fort. Pas fort is literally not strong. Not strong at languages. So obviously, if he's not strong, he's obviously not going to be speaking many. So that is obviously wrong. And then he said he found his job difficult en premier mois, so the first months, which is again at first. So that is right. And he said, j'ai trouvé un appartement. So the fact he found a flat and his parents aren't there means he has his own flat, which he found, so it's his own. Then and then obviously, so that's right. And then F, he wants to work in Spain. That is wrong also, because he worked past tense in Spain for 2 years. And so no, it didn't say anything about him wanting. And in G, I mean, some people could get this wrong because it said he's very far from his parents, so it's difficult to see them. However, he still sees them a lot. So it's not that he never sees his parents, it's just he lives far away, so it's difficult. So it's wrong because he does, in fact, see his parents.
Question 5.
Il y a trop d'ordures partout, même dans la mer. Pour moi, le pire, ce sont les inondations chaque printemps. La circulation est difficile en ville. On devrait utiliser les transports en commun, surtout le tramway. Les bus et les trains polluent. Les vélos ne sont pas pratiques. Chez moi, on devrait acheter moins de nourriture. Mais on recycle tout et on donne des vêtements dont on n'a plus besoin aux autres. On économise l'électricité.
Okay, so for the first one, it said le plus pire est l'inondation, and that's the biggest, le plus pire, the worst, and thus the biggest. So for the first one it's C, and then she also said all of the other things were problems, but not the biggest. And then for I,
Il y a trop d'ordures partout, même dans la mer. Pour moi, le pire, ce sont les inondations chaque printemps. La circulation est difficile en ville. On devrait utiliser les transports en commun, surtout le tramway. Les bus et les trains polluent. Les vélos ne sont pas pratiques. Chez moi, on devrait acheter moins de nourriture. Mais on recycle tout et on donne des vêtements dont on n'a plus besoin aux autres. On économise l'électricité.
Okay, so for I, it said surtout en tramway. So that is literally above all by tram. So it's literally answering the question directly. So it's obviously tram. And then it said that bicycle isn't effective, bus and train, they pollute. So obviously it's not that if she has negative feelings towards. And then the last one,
Living in the countryside.
BCD, she she does all those things anyway, and she directly said on devrait acheter moins de la nourriture.
Question 6, Part A.
Que penses-tu de la campagne?
La campagne, c'est bien pour les familles avec de jeunes enfants. Pour les ados, c'est plus difficile. J'aimerais bien pouvoir sortir plus avec mes amis.
Aimes-tu habiter ici?
Oui, la vie est plus lente et très tranquille.
So, yeah, to recap, it said which families find living in the countryside particularly good. It said avec les jeunes enfants, so jeunes enfants, young kids. However, and then it said ado, c'est plus difficile, so it's more difficult with them. And if it's more difficult, obviously it's not particularly good. And then it said what he likes more to do. He said go out more with friends, sortir avec
Que
les amis.
penses-tu de la campagne?
La campagne, c'est bien pour les familles avec de jeunes enfants. Pour les ados, c'est plus difficile. J'aimerais bien pouvoir sortir plus avec mes amis.
Aimes-tu habiter ici?
Oui, la vie est plus lente et très tranquille.
If you can, always give more than one detail, just in case one doesn't check out. I mean, it's always better to have more than one option at your disposal. So yeah, that was pretty self-explanatory. He said, the reporter asked if she likes it, and then he said, yes, oui, c'est XYZ. Tranquille, peaceful, chill, and then la vie est plus lente, life is slower.
Question 6, Part B.
Et tes parents?
Mon père est informaticien. Avec Internet, il peut travailler à la maison.
Et ta mère?
Avant, elle travaillait dans un hôtel en ville. Mais elle a arrêté. Elle va vendre les légumes du jardin au marché pour gagner de l'argent.
Okay, so for this one, it said he's an informatician, the Yusuf's father. But that's not what obviously he's works there, but it's not what he's able to do. And then it said because of this, he's able to work at home. So it's not informatician, he's able to be a informatician because he is an informatician. He's
Et tes
able
parents?
to work at home.
Mon père est informaticien. Avec Internet, il peut travailler à la maison.
Et ta mère?
Avant, elle travaillait dans un hôtel en ville. Mais elle a arrêté. Elle va vendre les légumes du jardin au marché pour gagner de l'argent.
So yeah, and for how his mother's going to earn money, it said she used to work in a hotel in town. But that's not what she's going to do, that's what she did to earn money. And then it goes on to saying she's going to sell her garden vegetables at the market, which obviously abides with the tenses, so that's probably the right one. Pay attention to the tenses.
The Emmaüs charity shops.
Question 7, Part A.
Il y a beaucoup de magasins Emmaüs.
Les magasins sont présents dans toutes les villes en France. L'argent qu'on reçoit est utilisé pour aider les gens qui n'ont pas de logement. Les magasins sont célèbres. On y vend de tout. Le samedi, Il y a toujours beaucoup de clients dans le magasin où je travaille.
So yeah, for I, where can you find a mouse chart? It just said tous les villes en France, so all the towns in France. And then who does this? I was a bit slow then, so I didn't actually get I and I.
Il y a beaucoup de magasins Emmaüs.
Les magasins sont présents dans toutes les villes en France. L'argent qu'on reçoit est utilisé pour aider les gens qui n'ont pas de logement. Les magasins sont célèbres. On y vend de tout. Le samedi, il y a toujours beaucoup de clients dans le magasin où je travaille.
So yeah, il aide les gens. So for I, il aide les gens sans logement. So sans logement is just without a home, without a lodging. So it's just homeless people. It says about Saturdays where she works, it just said beaucoup de clients. So that's basically just lots of customers.
Question 7. Part B.
Que fais-tu exactement?
Je trie les vêtements quand ils arrivent. Et puis, je dois laver les vêtements. Je n'aime pas ça. Parfois, je travaille à la caisse. Le travail est fatigant et assez ennuyeux. J'aime travailler dans le magasin parce que les gens avec qui je travaille sont incroyables. Et c'est comme une grande famille.
So yeah, it said je plie et je lave les vêtements. So plie is just I fold and lave is wash. And then it said travail à la caisse, which is just working at the till. Then why does Annick like working? It just said the people who she like, les personnes qui je travaille avec sont
Que
géniales.
fais-tu exactement?
Je trie les vêtements quand ils arrivent. Et puis, je dois laver les vêtements. Je n'aime pas ça. Parfois, je travaille à la caisse. Le travail est fatigant et assez ennuyeux. J'aime travailler dans le magasin parce que les gens avec qui je travaille sont incroyables. Et c'est comme une grande famille.
I mean, we
My
did.
work and future ambitions. Question 8. Part A.
Je suis boulanger. J'aime le travail physique. Me lever tôt et travailler de longues heures, c'est facile. Je déteste travailler le dimanche. J'ai passé 2 ans dans un lycée professionnel. La moitié du temps, j'étais en stage en entreprise. Je travaille maintenant pour une boulangerie célèbre. Je veux être un très bon boulanger et former des apprentis.
Okay, so it said la travail physique est facile. So the physical work, or it's like n'est pas. It said something about it being easy. So it's obviously not that. And then it said travail.
Je suis boulanger. J'aime le travail physique.
J'aime. That's
Me
it.
lever tôt et travailler de longues heures, c'est facile. Je déteste travailler le dimanche. J'ai passé 2 ans dans un lycée professionnel. La moitié du temps, j'étais en stage en entreprise. Je travaille maintenant pour une boulangerie célèbre. Je veux être un très bon boulanger et former des apprentis.
All right, quick recap. He said he likes physical work. So it's not like. So it's obviously not going to be that. It said getting up early and working long hours is easy for him. So if it's easy, obviously he doesn't not like it because it's just easy. He said to become a baker, lycée professionnel. So that's basically some sort of
Question 8.
apprenticeship. So
Part
he
B.
studied and then un stage,
Je
work
suis
experience.
joueuse de tennis professionnelle. Je donne aussi des cours aux enfants. Je voudrais travailler à la télévision. Le plus agréable, c'est que je visite beaucoup de pays. Même si on n'est pas célèbre ou champion, on peut gagner beaucoup d'argent. Il faut être en bonne santé, mais le plus important, la concentration. Je suis joueuse de tennis professionnelle. Je donne aussi des cours aux enfants. Je voudrais travailler à la télévision. Le plus agréable, c'est que je visite beaucoup de pays. Même si on n'est pas célèbre ou champion, on peut gagner beaucoup d'argent. Il faut être en bonne santé, mais le plus important, la concentration.
Okay, quick recap. It said she is a professional tennis player and she teaches tennis to children. So it's obviously not what she would like to do because she already does it. So it's not A, and it didn't really say anything about being a tennis champion or competitions. It just said she's a
Boarding
professional
at
tennis player.
school. Question 9, Part A.
Normalement, les élèves restent à l'internat parce qu'ils habitent loin du collège. Moi, par contre, j'habite près du collège, mais j'ai choisi l'internat. Je ne travaillais pas à la maison et j'avais peur de devoir redoubler. J'ai de bonnes amies ici. Elles m'aident quand je suis triste. Cependant, on n'a pas de vie privée. Chez moi, j'ai ma propre chambre. Ça me manque. En plus, tous les jours sont pareils.
Right, she said, usually people live far away, however she lives close, and because of that, it's different for why she's at boarding school. It's like, that's why her decision was different, because she lives close. And
Normalement, les élèves restent à l'internat parce qu'ils habitent loin du collège. Moi, par contre, j'habite près du collège, mais j'ai choisi l'internat. Je ne travaillais pas à la maison et j'avais peur de devoir redoubler. J'ai de bonnes amies ici. Elles m'aident quand je suis triste. Cependant, on n'a pas de vie privée. Chez moi, j'ai ma propre chambre. Ça me manque. En plus, tous les jours sont pareils.
okay, so it said, for the last one, tous les jours sont pareils. Pareil just means the same, and pas un vie privée. So not a private life. Those are the two disadvantages. And said, for the friends, ils m'aident quand je suis triste. So when I am sad. So when do her friends help her? When she's sad. And then, je suis peur de redoubler. Scared of repeating the year. And then she said, je ne travaille pas chez moi. So she doesn't work at home. So
Question 9, Part B.
Je dois faire 2 heures d'études le soir. Les professeurs nous aident si nous avons des difficultés. Je peux utiliser un ordinateur. À la maison, je devais partager avec ma sœur. Après avoir mangé, on a 1 heure de loisir. On peut faire du sport. Il y a des activités artistiques. J'apprends à faire des bijoux. Parfois, ça m'énerve, mais j'apprends à être indépendante et à m'entendre avec les autres. Je dois faire 2 heures d'études le soir. Les professeurs nous aident si nous avons des difficultés. Je peux utiliser un ordinateur. À la maison, je devais partager avec ma sœur. Après avoir mangé, on a 1 heure de loisir. On peut faire du sport. Il y a des activités artistiques. J'apprends à faire des bijoux. Parfois, ça m'énerve, mais j'apprends à être indépendante et à m'entendre avec les autres.
Okay, so she said, for number 1, she said she can use, on peut utiliser un ordi by herself, and she also said, les professeurs nous aident si on a des difficultés. So teachers help. So obviously that helps because then she can get help from
Relationships
online
with
or
parents.
teachers.
Question 10. Part 1.
Je ne peux pas sortir en semaine. Heureusement, je peux passer la nuit chez ma meilleure amie, car mes parents connaissent sa famille. Quand je sors, je dois appeler ma mère. Je peux parler à mes parents, mais ils pensent que je suis une enfant. C'est pire pour mon frère. Je ne peux pas sortir en semaine. Heureusement, je peux passer la nuit chez ma meilleure amie, car mes parents connaissent sa famille. Quand je sors, je dois appeler ma mère. Je peux parler à mes parents, mais ils pensent que je suis une enfant. C'est pire pour mon frère.
Okay, so quick recap. It said, je peux passer la nuit à mon meilleur ami. So she can spend the night at a friend. Then for B, it's obviously not B because she said, mon frère, la pire. Pire is even worse. So if it's even worse, then it probably means he's even more restricted. And it's C is correct because it says every time she goes out, je dois appeler ma mère. So she has to call her mother, which is basically calling home. And then for D is right as well because it said that she can't go out during the week, which obviously means the only time she can go out is during the weekend. And for E is wrong because it said she can talk to her parents. It's just she gets babied because it says that mais il pense que je suis un bébé or something. So she just enfant. They think she's a child. So in fact he can talk. And then so yeah, continuing. Right, last one. Allez.
Question 10. Part 2.
Chez moi, il n'y a pas vraiment de règles. Mes parents comptent sur moi pour être responsable.
Sorry, give me a second.
Pourtant, je dois me coucher tôt en semaine. Le week-end, si je sors, ils viennent me chercher car les taxis coûtent cher. Mes parents me demandent mon opinion avant de prendre une décision.
Okay, so it said, it's obviously not A because it said mes parents ne sont pas stricts. So it's not strict, and it said mes parents comptent sur moi. So they count on him. So obviously if they're counting on him, they trust him.
Chez moi, il n'y a pas vraiment de règles.
So yeah, if they don't have rules,
Mes parents
that much
comptent
rules,
sur
obviously
moi
it's not strict.
pour être responsable. Pourtant, je dois me coucher tôt en semaine. Le week-end, si je sors, ils viennent me chercher car les taxis coûtent cher. Mes parents me demandent mon opinion avant de prendre une décision.
Okay, so yeah, it said his parents involve him because it said that, they talk together when making decisions. Obviously, if they talk together and they're collaborating, obviously he's involved. And then it's not C because it said mes parents viennent me chercher. So his parents collect him. So obviously, if his parents collect him, he doesn't take a taxi home because it's his parents doing it, not the taxi. And then it said he cannot go to bed when he wants, so it's not D. So it's B and E. Okay, that's the full paper done. I've put the mark scheme on the screen for each question, so you can see whether I've got something wrong. I hope this video has helped you revise for the listening paper. Any questions? Just leave a comment. Au revoir.